Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today it's 12:54. I'm breaking my essentially 24-hour fast. Yesterday, if you know, I'm doing the carnivore diet again. Yesterday I had a pretty big lunch and then didn't really feel like eating the rest of the day. So I think I snacked on like a beef stick or something closer to the time that I would normally eat, but still yet. Overall, it was a 24-hour fast. We're going to be smoking up a ribeye. Now, this is just a cheap, choice cut USDA Angus cowboy ribeye steak. Got this at the good old Wally World. You know, a lot of times folks ask how you afford ribeyes. Well, I buy stuff that has this little yellow tag on it. So we got a 1.33 pound bone-in ribeye. Essentially, they're selling it at around $9.29 a pound, whereas before it was $15.47 a pound. So you saved a little bit of money buying the rollback prices there. And we're just going to do this super simple. The Pit Boss is getting a lot of work this week. I hadn't used it in a while, so it's getting its workout in. We're just going to salt brine this for about an hour. I've already got the pit going, and we're just going to let it ride, and I'm just smoking it. There's no reverse searing, there's no searing and then smoking it, none of that. We're going to try out just smoking a steak from start to finish, going to about 135 degrees, pull it off, let it rest. Should be around a medium to medium rare, depending on how early we pull it. The salt I'm using, it's nothing special. It's just coarse sea salt. That's the only ingredient. There may be other things in here, so if you're strict carnivore, get your Redmonds or whatever and stick with that. But this little maraca of salt is all that I've got at the house right now. So let's get turned into this thing and get it salted up and ready to get on this pit. Overall, it's not a bad looking steak. Again, it's just a choice cut. You see we've got the bone in here and a decent eye, a pretty good spinalis. The spinalis actually looks, or the cap, whatever you want to call it, actually looks pretty well marbled. I don't know if you can see that. So overall for, what was it, $12.35, I think this is going to be a pretty good little piece of meat. I don't have one of the fancy ones, so we're just going to be grinding up some salt. I'm going to put a little bit on the board. This is how I do my edges. It just makes it easier. So once you have the salt on the board, you just take your piece of meat and you just roll it. And that helps you get everything up. And then you can just kind of drag everything around. So now you have both sides salted, and then all your edges are salted as well. Now normally I would throw some garlic powder, maybe a little bit of paprika, some thyme, something like that on here to spice it up a little bit. Like I said, basic, super simple carnivore lunch for me, and it's going to be delicious. We're going to let this go ahead and sit out, get up to room temperature, let that salt work its magic, get the meat sweats going on here, and then we're going to head out to the pit where we're going to throw a thermometer or a temp probe into this, and we're going to let this thing ride on the smoke. We're using pecan pellets today from, it's the Pit Boss brand. I've never used them before, but I really like pecan. I think it gives a nice, subtle smoke. So I think it's going to be really good for what we're trying to do here. Running at 225, super low, super slow, and we'll see how long it takes this ribeye to come up to temperature. All right, so we'll see you guys out on the smoker. All right, as you can see, the smoker is rolling. We got the temp set to 225, and we're probing at 225. And then even over here, you can see it's about 275 right in the middle. So we're going to actually keep the meat on the side with the digital thermometer. I've got our probe in there. This is just the probe that came with the Pit Boss, so we'll be able to see everything down here on the display. Just gonna take it, lay it in there just like that. We're gonna let this thing smoke. Right now it's showing 33 degrees, so it didn't quite come up to room temperature, but I'm hungry and I couldn't wait, so it's gonna get some smoke. And that's it. We're letting it ride until it's done. Shooting, like I said, for about 130 to 135 internal temp. Pull it off, and we're gonna eat it. So we will see y'all in the kitchen. This wasn't a good idea. All right, well, it's done. We pulled it off at 140 degrees. I went ahead and let it ride to 140. Let's get the thermal pop out here and see what it's actually reading at in the center. So right at 135, dead in the center, 134. We're gonna let it rest for just a couple minutes and we're gonna cut into it. Let's take a look at what it looks like. I don't know how I feel about just smoking it. It's maybe a fail. I don't know. It doesn't look appealing, as you can see. But it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It's all about what it tastes like. So we're going to let it rest for a minute. We're going to get some butter out, and then we'll be cutting it up in about 5 to 10 minutes. All right. This thing has rested for about 10 minutes. Yep, still looks the same. Just a wet, somewhat pink, underwhelming piece of meat. We're gonna throw a little bit of our butter on here. Actually, I'm just gonna use that on the side. And we're gonna get this thing cut up. We're gonna take the bone off, leave just the eye and the cap. I may go ahead and take the cap off too. I don't know. Let's just cut into it. I don't know why I'm nervous. I'm not really nervous. I don't think it's gonna be good. All right, I'm gonna take a little tip off here, make some slices. All right, let's take a look at it. I mean, it's wall-to-wall pink. There's no gray band. There's a tiny little, there's a fly. A tiny little bit of a gray band, but nothing crazy. I guess it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It matters what it tastes like. We'll just taste it as is right now. Well, it's cooked. It's cooked to a temperature probably above what I normally eat. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I just don't want it to taste bad. Super juicy. Super juicy. The texture, though, is much different than if you were to sear this, obviously, because there's been no Maillard reaction, there's been no crust, there's no... That pecan has put a nice little smoke on here. I am surprised at how juicy it is. Like, it's super juicy and super tender. Let's cut us a little piece of butter off here. Put a piece of butter on it. A little saltiness from the butter. That's the other thing. Plain by itself, I don't really get a lot of the salt. And we put quite a bit of salt on there. So overall, would I do this again? Probably not. Give me a reverse seared ribeye, or give me a reverse seared New York strip, or a reverse seared tri-tip, and I'm going to crush it all day long. Just a plain smoked ribeye, it's not my thing. And it took about the same amount of time as it would if you were reverse searing it. It's 3 o'clock now, and we started this at 1 o'clock. So overall 2 hours to cook and do all that. So Would I do this again? Probably not. Probably not. Would I recommend you try it? Maybe. It might be something that you like. And, you know, that's what it's all about. Finding the things you enjoy and the things you like to keep carnivore kind of mixed up so that you don't get in that rut of eating the same thing over and over again. So, that's going to be it for today, guys. I appreciate you for watching. Be sure to check out all my other videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really would appreciate it. We're closing in on 10,000 subscribers, and that's just awesome. And it's all because of you guys. Also, I created a few links. If you want to check them out, they'll be in the description box down below. I see, you know, Amazon wish list and all my socials are down there. So just check them out. If you feel like it, go ahead. If not, that's fine too. We're going to go on this carnivore journey together regardless, all right? So, until next time, y'all stick with me. We'll see what we can do. Thanks, guys. God bless.